the call. I'm going to be recording this, so you guys will be able to get a copy of this recording. Lots of great information will be shared today. So definitely notepads, take some notes on everything that we're reviewing. Chat is live, Q&A is live. So this is a live webinar. So any questions that you guys have regarding what Kira's talking about, please pop those in there. She's going to be great about going through and answering those questions. But we are here to talk about how to become the #1 agent in your market, right? You guys have been on a number of our webinars, and I think one of the reoccurring themes that I've heard throughout my career from top agents is when their clients tell them why they use them or how they found them, they're like, I saw you everywhere. And ultimately, that's what your goal is as an agent, is you need to create that perception that you are the #1 agent, whether you've been in the business for 25 years or you got your license a month ago. You want to make sure that you are that agent who's shown everywhere. And Kira has created an amazing company that allows for you guys to do that. And so I wanted her to come on and talk about how she can do that. So Kira, without further ado, I'm going to pop your slides up and I'll be here in the background if you need anything, but otherwise take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. Like Deanna said, as we go through this, please add your questions in the chat or in the Q&A, whichever is easiest for you. Good morning, Lisa from Washington. Awesome. Like I said, I'm super excited to dive right in. And this is going to be action-packed. So I'm originally from New York City. I tend to talk a little fast. I will do my best to slow down, but we are going to talk all about how to get first dibs on every real estate transaction in your local market. So let's take it from the top here. Why are you here? A couple of things, and I know Deanna kind of prefaced it too, but maybe you're someone that you feel really spread thin doing all the things, right? Like you keep hearing about all these trends and you're doing like Facebook and Instagram and mailers and emails and keeping up with your website. There's just so many things that you feel like you're juggling and you're like, okay, which one of these is supposed to really work for me? Or maybe you're feeling stumped on how to really generate real hot leads online. I hear it time and time again. Oh, that didn't really work out for me online. That didn't work out for me online. Like maybe you're feeling stumped of how to really navigate that. Or maybe you want a consistent, reliable marketing strategy. So like I said, you're not feeling like you're really spinning the wheels or have these gaps throughout the year, right? Like I tend to talk to some agents that are like, I do really well this season and then it's really dead and slow because, well, it's the holidays, right? We want reliable consistency in your strategy. Maybe you want to just maximize on everything that you're doing. Maybe you're already top producer and you're rocking and rolling, right? So we are going to just really dive in and hone in on the good news for you here, which is end of our session, we're going to talk about how to have a steady flow of hot buyer and seller leads that are going to be calling you every single month to help them make that next move. All right. How awesome does that sound? Give me like a high five emoji or a 1 in that chat if that sounds like yes. Show me the way. How do I keep getting buyer and seller leads that are calling me? I'm not going to say like your cold calling is going to go away completely if that's your thing, but would it be nice to get more calls inbound than the calls outbound that you're making? You no longer have to feel like you're spending countless hours on that cold prospecting or awkwardly dancing on social media for leads. But hey, if that is your jam and you're rocking and you feel confident, keep at it. But I know not everybody feels really comfortable doing those dances on Instagram or TikTok. And overall, by the end of our session, I want to make sure that you are one of the most sought after realtors in your area, which will ultimately give you first dibs on every real estate transaction that is happening in your own backyard. Okay. So kind of like we talked about before, you want to make sure that you're just having this attention on you and you're the realtor that they know everywhere in the digital landscape. Okay. Alrighty here. So why should you listen to me? Who the heck am I other than being from Naples, Florida, where it's really hot and humid right now, but I love it because I'm originally from, like I said, New York City. But I am the founder and CEO of Agent Design House. We're a preferred marketing partner to some of the nation's biggest real estate brokerages and coaching companies as well. Yes, Tony, this will be recorded. I believe Deanna will be sending that out afterwards. And I personally, my team has helped hundreds of agents all over North America become #1 top producing realtors in their local markets. So super excited to share with you a little bit more. One of my clients, Carolyn, she's out in the Virginia market. She's actually Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, and DC. In the last 12 months, she had 164 calls and counting. And she had over 1,600 plus clicks to the website and counting. Not just clicks, like these are actually like, they were clicks that convert into more information or looking to buy, looking to sell. Like if this is something that excites you, like I said, hit me up in those emojis, give me some hearts, give me some megaphone celebrations, give me some high fives, because this is truly what we do and what we do best. And it's why we hyper focus on online lead generation. Okay. My promise to you, honestly, everyone, I know what it takes personally to win as a realtor, especially in today's market. And I want to make sure that I have everything in my power that is going to help you be successful, right? We are at the beginning of Q2. So I feel like this call is even more timely, right? Like we're in the beginning of Q2. We've got Q2, Q3, and Q4 of 2025 that we really need to rock out. And online visibility is not going away anytime soon. So how did I get here? I started off my career, honestly, in marketing with Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson. I did get into real estate, not because I thought it was going to be easy 6-figure salary or kind of house hunter style, show 3 homes and poof, the buyer is magically in their home. But I just genuinely had a passion for real estate. And I'll also add, it was not because I thought I could be like this flexible schedule of a mom of 2 boys that you see pictured in the middle here. Okay. So really wanted to just get involved in real estate. I absolutely just had a love and a passion for it. I ended up being in joining one of the top 10 teams worldwide of Keller Williams. And I ultimately knew that although it was a successful team, success was still up to myself. And so my broker ended up liking the things that I was doing to market myself, even though I fell within my criteria and my, whatever the branding guidelines were. Essentially, she ended up hiring me to do the marketing for the team in its entirety. Over the course of time, though, my family and I moved to Florida, and I started getting inquiries from agents across the country. And that's really how the company was born. And so initially, Agent Design House, we actually did a lot more branding. Initially, we were doing email marketing, and feel free, take screenshot of this because these are some really awesome marketing materials. We used to have 70% rate or higher on our email marketing. We had our listing presentations we would do, website development, social media, postcard mailers, Google, you name it, we did it. Why? Because I was a realtor before, and I knew that if I could give you your time back as a real estate agent while working on the marketing, then this was going to be, honestly, the best of both worlds, right? But what we noticed is that out of everything that we were doing, Google was the one that was working the best out of everything combined. Our clients were loving it. We had creativity. We were really outside the box, and they were getting compliments. I'm like, oh, I got your postcard. It was really awesome. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great feedback. We need lead conversion, right? Things could look nice, but at the end of the day, honestly, I want your bank accounts to look nicer, right? So here's what we noticed. Google has the hottest leads with the shortest sales cycle because they're the furthest in their decision-making process. Okay. I want you to think about that. Google has the hottest leads with the shortest sales cycle because they are furthest along in their decision-making process. I want you to think of it this way. People go to Google because they are looking for a solution to their problem, right? It's not like we're going on Zillow, which is randomly checking out things, right? That's not it at all. We are going to Google because we want an exact answer to what we're looking for. That problem with home sellers or even buyers is who's going to help me buy a home? Who's going to help me sell a home? There is intent behind their searches. All right. And that's really important. And I'm going to say this right now, y'all, if Google is not in your marketing strategy, starting after this call, top 3 marketing strategies to be implemented, I hope that changes because it's so important. Google is not a trend. It's not coming and going I'll say TikTok, for instance, right? It came, it went, came back again. It might go away again. Google is here to stay, and it's here to stay for the long haul. And it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's getting more and more competitive. And I could honestly say this, 5 years and counting of running Google My Business, Google Local Services, Google Ads, YouTube in-stream ads, doing all the things, I can honestly tell you, it's one of the reasons why our agency no longer even focuses on all the things, and we only hyper-focus on Google. Okay. And literally, like I said, we wipe all of this out. We don't even utilize it anymore. I mean, we'll share great ideas, but it's not just about great ideas. We need great strategies. We need great strategies that are going to convert. We need great strategies that are going to bring you in more business. And we know, like I said, with Google, the searches are intentional. There's reason, there's purpose. And I'm going to even show you some examples in a bit of that. But let's take a step back, okay? I want you to take your real estate hat off for just a moment. And I want to understand, what is the consumer process throughout getting to the point of getting to you, okay? Stage one, they're unaware they even have a problem, okay? They're like, hey, I'm happy in my home. Maybe this is my forever home, or I'm just settled with where I'm at. They're not even thinking about it. And quite frankly, a lot of times you're hitting up these postcard mailers and they're getting to those kind of people, and you're wasting dollars, right? Because there are no interest. I'm not saying give up on postcards. I'm wanting to break down what the consumer behavior is like on this, okay? Then you've got those that are problem aware. They're starting to talk about it, right? Like, when myself and Matt get married and essentially want to have a baby, we might need more space, right? So there's no exact timeline, but they're starting to think about it, right? And that's a good time to make sure that, whenever they are looking around, your name is popping up everywhere. And then you've got solution aware, where they're like, that timeline is more clear, right? The kids are graduating high school and college. It's time to downsize and sell the family home. And the school year is wrapping up. We should start doing so in the next few weeks, few months. And then you have product aware, where it's like, it's hot, it's fire. They've made their decision. Husband and wife sat down. They've had a discussion. It's go time. The plan is in motion. It's at the product aware where we hit up on Google searches. What do you think about competitors to Google, like ChatGPT and Perplexity, based on search engine? I absolutely love that question. And honestly, I look at it all as equal. Why? Well, not everyone is using ChatGPT or Perplexity. Let's just be honest, okay? I'll be honest with you. My in-laws, right? They're 70 plus years old. They've never even heard of Perplexity. In fact, they don't even really use Google as much. They use Yahoo. It's one of the reasons why I strongly feel that your online presence isn't always just about Google. I'll say Google just for like your overarching theme, but really for what I personally think is best, or not even personally, professionally think is best, is that you have all of your bases covered. Okay, so all your search engines, Google, Yahoo, Bing, MSN, even if you're like, somebody still uses AOL.com. Yeah, guess what? Grandma Mary down the street, he still uses AOL.com, right? There's a level of comfort based off your demographic specifically. But if you have, let's say, someone in their 30s, even their 40s, they are leaning a little bit more to ChatGPT. They are leaning more to Perplexity. The thing to know, though, about ChatGPT specifically is that they're usually pulling from existing content that's already out there from reliable sources. So like US News, or a lot of my clients have been on like Real Trends, and that article, because there's so many hits on it, will come up in ChatGPT searches. Perplexity, I actually had a call yesterday with one of my clients who was like, hey, you're never going to believe the kind of call I just got. And I was like, well, what is it? And she's like, I just got to somebody that's looking to sell their home, and they found me through Perplexity. I'm like, yes, this is all the things, all the search engine out there. You need to treat it equally, because you never know who's using what and when. But I will say this, Google, as far as numbers go and activity, is still dominating the AI platforms. Okay, I hope that answered your question. And let me just hit my slide here. Okay, awesome. All right, I absolutely love this. Speaking of numbers, okay, this is so huge and important, and I'm actually going to expand my screen here so I can see all my numbers here because it's a little small. Okay, here's the thing when we're thinking of online searches, is that we need to understand, what are people actually searching for? I know sometimes we're thinking like best realtor near me or top realtor, but that's not always the case for every single market. For instance, if you take a look at this market here, first one is in the Dallas area. So real estate agents in Dallas, Texas, 2,900 searches in the last 28 days. If you're in Dallas and you're not ranking in at least the top 3, I want you to think about the 2,900 plus opportunities in the last 28 days that just got missed because you weren't ranking on searches. Right. Lake Havasu, Arizona. Lake Havasu, Arizona also had another 2,900 searches. I know it's also like spring break time over there, so their numbers have been like peaking overall because people start thinking about investment properties, second homes, etc. I'm here in Naples, Florida, and this is our snowbird season, which is where people are like, oh, I'm getting ready to retire and so, right? We thrive in snowbird season. Houses for sale in Naples, Florida, 27,000 in the last 28 days. Let's not leave it up to Zillow and Realtor.com to get those leads on you. If you have the organic SEO set up the right way, you can have a piece of that pie, the 27,000 that have looked in the last 28 days in Naples, Florida. If you're in Florida, period, snowbird season is where it's at. Okay. This is also how we build up that reliable, consistent strategy, because when it comes to summertime and they're thinking about coming back for snowbird season, that search comes back up again. And you need to be at the top 24/7, 365 days a year. Charlotte, North Carolina, hot market. You've got lots of relo happening there. You got a great job market. You got great healthcare. In the last 28 days, 4,400 searches for realtor, Charlotte, North Carolina. Again, if you are in any of these areas and you are seeing these numbers, holy smokes, you're not top three. Here's what you're doing. You're basically telling your competition, take my money and I ain't collecting a referral fee. I should tell you that I'm very brutally honest, coming from New York initially, okay? And Las Vegas real estate, 12,000 searches in the last 28 days. And I'll tell you, I have a client in the Las Vegas area, and he's been working with us for 4 years and absolutely crushing it to the point that we are the number one strategy for him, because it's just constantly consistent, where he's backed off on his cold calling. That is on his own doing, but because the calls are constantly coming in. Okay. So overall, like I said, what we took a look at, this is an example of one of our clients' transaction sheet, right? And we track everything. If somebody's like, hey, 123 Main Street went live, great. Where did that lead come from? Or even just what we're seeing inbound calls wise. What we saw here is look at how many Google leads came in. This is not counting how she started the year of 2025. This is just 2024 closed transactions. Closed transactions just on Google, or let's just say online searches. Okay, we mark it as Google, but it could be, like I said, Yahoo, Bing, MSN, all of those online searches. 40% GCI alone came from Google leads. I will tell you, 2025 came around and she completely butchered postcard mailers. And it's just like, let's go even bigger on Google. Let's go even harder on Google. Okay. Again, you see this consistent level, right? Boom, 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 Google, Google, Google. Of course, like I said, you're still going to work your open houses. You're still going to nurture your database. You're still going to work your sphere. But I want you to also think about it this way, right? Because I talk to a lot of agents that are like, my business is mainly based off SOI and referrals. Okay. Well, let's say someone referred you. Well, that person wants to see how you're marketing online. If they can't find you online, how the heck is somebody going to find the home that you're supposed to list for them online? Right now, they've got this hesitation. Well, I might call your referral, but I'm going to start interviewing these other people because they have a stronger online presence. Okay, does that make sense, y'all? Give me some hearts, some high fives, no thumbs down. Okay, we got to keep this up because we're gonna piece the puzzle for all of you guys together today. Okay. And so when it comes, like I said, referrals, they're checking you out. The leads that call you through Google is not just like, hey, I'm thinking about, they made a decision. And I got to tell you, in the last year of just data that we've pulled through, majority of the time, I'm going to tell you probably 60% or more walked into listing appointments with no competition, because again, the decision was made. If I see you everywhere online, I trust that you're going to market my home every possible way for not only me to get top dollar, but for me to potentially hit my deadline that I want to be out of this house by. Okay. So like I said, actually, I'll tell you, 2024, our clients overall average out 35% was our average. 35% of their GCI was from Google leads alone. So what does this mean for you? Like I said beforehand, if you're not on page 1 of Google, heck, if you're not on top 10 of Google, you're missing out on the hottest deals in your market. And like I said, you're telling the competition, here you go. And even worse, because I'm sure some of you guys, or if you're on your desktop, you're checking on your phone of who's coming up. I guarantee you that you're going to look, and half the time you're going to be like, I don't even know that person. That person doesn't live, eat, breathe, play in my area. That person doesn't know my backyard the way I do. It doesn't matter, because here's what matters. To the person that's looking up online, what matters is who comes up number 1 and 2. They're not going to check on Zillow to see what their production was. They're not going to check your MLS to see, are they the number 1 top producing realtor? No, they got their reliability from Google, from ChatGPT, from Yahoo, etc. They don't need it. Nobody's going to question. Think about how many times when you look up on Google, how many times have you ever questioned Google? Nope, wrong answer. Try again. You don't. Well, they ain't doing that for their real estate agent of choice either. Okay. What is Google's main objective? Again, we're going to take our real estate hat off for a second, and we're going to put ourselves in the shoes of Google. Google wants to be get the absolute best result for the end user in the fastest amount of time in the search criteria. In fact, if you notice, even lately on Google searches, because they've got to compete with something like a ChatGPT or even Perplexity, you're seeing this, experimental generative AI response, right? Because they're pulling in their AI, Gemini, to start pulling in some of those search results as they're in the experimental phase. Why? Because they got to keep up with their reputation. They don't want to become ancient AOL. They want to keep up with the trends, and they want to keep up with the fastest amount of time with rock solid information, giving the best results. It's what they're known for. Okay. All right. You're thinking, I'm sold on Google. I get it. It's important for me, but I've tried it before. It didn't work for me. In fact, I got some really crappy leads. I always got soliciting type of calls. I got random weirdos calling me. It didn't work. Okay. Oh, well, my pop quiz answer came up, but I want you to think about Google stops working. Again, let's pretend you didn't see my answer here, right? There are no more deals, real estate deals in your area. There's not a single for sale sign in your area. Doubt that. You did something silly to your Google profile. Maybe you're in re-verification status. Maybe you're in suspension status and you feel like you're in this big dark hole. In fact, if that's you, please go ahead and still hit me up in the chat, because I know that's happened quite a lot. Okay. Or you stopped keeping your Google up to date. You're like, hey, I keep getting reviews. Not sure why I'm not ranking. I keep uploading photos, but that's all I've ever been told to do. And that's become your strategy, and nothing's moving. The needle's not moving forward. In fact, if anything, you're getting further down the pipeline in ranking. What about an extremely competitive market like Phoenix that makes Google extremely cost prohibitive and almost impossible to rank anywhere near the first page? I absolutely love that question. Here's the thing. Every area is competitive, but I understand what you're saying. You're in Phoenix. You're in a city area. We have agents in big cities as well. The first thing that's most important before you go throwing thousands of dollars into pay-per-click leads is that the organic approach, the organic foundation needs to be set. Because I'm going to be honest with you, and I will 100% tell you that I have clients out in the Long Island, New York City area. I have clients in San Diego area. I've got clients in Miami, and those agents are coming up 2 or 3 on search results right behind the Zillows of the world, the Realtor.coms of the world. Okay. There is a strategy, and the strategy doesn't just get executed and forgotten about. Google is constantly doing search crawls. Sometimes their search crawls happen in every 2 weeks. Sometimes they'll do one now and they're going to wait another 6 weeks. They don't have a calendar. So I always say this to our clients. For us specifically, we are always making sure that we are keeping up to the trends of what those keywords, phrases need to be, especially when we take a look at the competition. So if you have people that are ranking above you, we like to look at the top 3 that are outranking you. Why are they outranking you? How are they outranking you? And how do we one up them? That is always the mindset. So for each and every one of you, if you've got a Google presence or desire to have a Google presence, there's what we call heat maps, and I'll show you that in a second. But who is outranking? Why are they outranking? And then what's the strategy to one up them? So it's very possible in the Phoenix market to get up there without, like I said, thousands of dollars into pay-per-click. I always say once you get on Google organic searches solid for 9 to 12 months, then you start playing around with Google pay-per-click. But even before that, I would do YouTube in-stream ads before I go near pay-per-click, because pay-per-click, you're paying just for that per click. YouTube in-stream ads, you're paying for more of impressions and even engagement. And the lead flow is a lot better through YouTube in-stream ads than pay-per-click. And that is a whole other webinar series. So we're going to stay focused on our Google presence right now. Hope that answered your question, Tracy. Okay. Oh, my animation didn't work here. Oh, goodness. Okay. It's okay. We will make do. Okay. Let me see here if I can do it in full. All right. Oops. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. I had a little animation here, but it's not working, which is totally fine. I was just trying to give some examples of some of the kind of messages that come through from Google. And so here, this is a client of mine out in Yorba Linda, California. Actually, when she came to us, she had already somebody working on her Google page. And when we spoke, she was like, "Hey, can you do what we call as like a heat map or a Google audit?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you're not doing too shabby." And when we looked at it, she's like, "Oh no, this is terrible. Like I cover this big area and I'm only being seen in like this area." And so something to know on most Google business profile pages is that your Google business profile pages services a radius of 5 miles. So think about where your address is situated at and that 5-mile radius, especially for, I think your name was Tracy, in the Phoenix market. I bet you service more than 5 miles, right? Especially if you have a team. So there are ways, again, we like specifically have a piece of technology that we created that we embed in profiles that allow us to go up to 80-mile radius. Not all of our clients need it, but up to 80-mile radius. And we're actually working on expanding 120-mile radius just because there are agents out there that, cover multiple states. And we need that expansion. Instead of creating all these Google profiles for each location and then trying to get all these reviews, we want to keep it centralized. All right. But like I said, when they are reaching out to you on Google, they are hot. They are ready. They've made their decision. You can't see all the messages, but this one in particular was, "My husband and I are divorcing and selling a house is a strong possible option. I don't know where to start. I'm looking for someone who might be able to give us an idea of what it might be worth in current condition, what to expect for closing costs, etc. If you're able to help, that would be amazing. Text or email would be best for contact," right? So you're even getting like this level of like, text me or email me, right? Like she was honest, text or email. I'm not going to answer the phone. My agent or my client ends up going into meeting with the husband and wife, not only being able to get that listing, wasn't salesy. She was very compassionate of the situation, but also being able to help the wife to then also find her next home. So kind of that double dipping. In fact, again, you can't see the animation. I thought it was going to be fun and fancy here. Oh, sorry, Deanna, are you fixing it? It's okay. I'll give her 1 second here.
I'm trying to get it up so you can actually see the different animation if you want to tell me when to stop.
It's okay. You're good. You're good. If not, no worries.
Can you see it?
And let me see if I hit it. It's blank screen. Do you want to hit the slide and see if it'll pop up?
Yeah, let me see. Slides. It looks like it's not going to do it.
No worries.
Okay. No, all good. I want to try and bring it up so you guys can see the fanciness, but it doesn't look like it's going to play.
Hold it right there. Oh, you had it for a second.
Okay. Here we go.
We got this. We got this. Let's see here. The way you just had it had like 2 heat maps and then a screenshot of where the client was being ranked. If you could pull that, that would be awesome, just so that way everyone could see kind of the before and after difference I was talking about with Google audits. And as she's pulling that, y'all, there's a way, if you have not seen one, it's called a heat map. And what that does, does an audit of where you're ranking, where you're placing when it comes to, again, all online searches, not necessarily only just Google. And it's really helpful because that's a good measurement, because I know if you go on Google Business Profile on the back end, it'll show you like overall views and maybe phone call volume, website clicks, direction requests. but it's not showing you how you're actually ranking. And what you're relying on is your own searches of searching for yourself or searching for your area. And quite frankly, a lot of these searches are extremely smart, where they are picking up your own pin and how many times you're doing that searches. And that's just going to usually gets you more frustrated because you don't really actually ever see the true actual ranking. Are we getting closer?
Showing me what you need, Kira?
No, I just have a blank white screen.
Oh, okay. I'm like, it tried. I'll bring you back to your side.
Yep, that's right. We'll keep it moving. And my next one will actually break it down as well. So, okay, this is one of my clients, Faith. She's out in Redding, California. And actually, when she reached out, I mean, if y'all need ideas on like how to rock out on social media, follow the Barrett team from Redding, California, because they are just so creative, outside the box. She was already getting tremendous amount of leads through Instagram. But she was looking to improve optimization for her Google ranking. And it was just baffling to me because this was someone that just like, again, had this social media presence, is this top producer. I mean, she crushes it in her area, but yet we can't find her on Google. How does that even make sense? How does that make sense, right? And you might feel that way yourself. You're like, hey, I'm a top producer. I sell crazy amount of homes in the area. Are you coming up number one, number two? Well, there we go. We got a nice heat map here, right? So now we worked through it, not only got her found, but now ranking number two in her searches. And this heat map, you see all these like green dots, that's her actual ranking. That's her actual ranking. And not just in Redding, California, but Bella Vista and all these other little neighborhoods around her, Whiskey Town, etc. We've got ones, we've got twos, threes, fours, got some yellows, 8 and 9s. All right, we're working on getting those in the green too. But overall, talk about being the agent that's being seen and found everywhere. This is the ideal, I'll say, as close as picture perfect. I like to see all ones on the maps, and that's what we continue to push for, right? How you want to make sure that you're being seen, and you want a map that looks like this. And unfortunately, the back end of Google, my business, ain't going to share this with you, okay? What does that look like when you're ranking that high up? And again, I like to take this example because I have clients in the city, I got in the suburbs, I got the rural areas, etc. But in her area, in the last 12 months, she had 121 inbound calls from Google. Oh my gosh. All right. And even a little bit more comparison, the year before that, she had 64 calls. And on Google My Business, you're not paying per lead on this one, which is huge. Okay. Website clicks, you see the inbound website clicks as well, another 1,400. Direction requests are also pretty big because it actually helps drive more traffic to your open houses. So that's just, important things to know. Local service ads as well. So you got Google My Business and local services ads. Look at this. 58 calls from Google local service ads. Seller, you can even see that. Seller listing agent, looking for seller listing agent. Sure, we had a wrong call. And I'm sharing you. I cannot be more transparent because it's not a flawless, picture perfect. You're only going to get qualified leads. But if y'all look at this big list, okay, she got the wrong call, and she even had, I think, a beekeeper at one point. But look at how many seller listing agent, relocation, buyer, looking to sell. Oh my word. I'm ready to sell 123 Main Street. Can you come and take a look and let me know how much it's worth and when we can get it on the market? Yes. Hey, I'm flying into town. I'm looking to reload in the area. Are you available this weekend or someone on your team to show me? And I'm thinking about a few townhomes in this area. Yes. They're coming to you. They can come to you. But if they can't find you online, your phone is not going to be ringing. Okay. In total, 179 inbound calls in the last 12 months from her Google profile alone. Right. What tool are you using to see that heat map with searches? So we actually have built our own research software so that way it could pull from Yahoo, Bing, Amazon, like all of those search engines. So we have something like very specific. In the last 12 months as well, she closed 35 new deals. And she's still nurturing some of those calls that have come in, but that is what has been closed to date and solid. All right. Give me some hearts or high fives if you're like, yes, I need some Google in my life. Google needs to work for me. You don't want to be working for Google. Google needs to work for you. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so you're like, hey, I want to be on top, but I don't have that many reviews, because I just saw you show me an example of someone that had 200 plus reviews. And I know you didn't get to see overall on the other one because we had a little animation technology challenge there, but that client as well had another 100 plus reviews. And you're like, I don't have that many reviews. Right? Where do I go from here? Okay. Here's what you need to understand. It's not just about reviews. Okay. There is a whole strategy. This is the best way to explain it. I want you to think about your name in the middle of a very messy, tangled spider web. And I'm an old soul. So that old saying that all roads lead to Rome, all keywords need to lead to you. You got to clean up that messy, tangled spider web. It's got to look pretty to get all those angles to you. Reviews is a piece of the puzzle. Reviews is about this much, okay? Reviews is there. But we've got a whole other things, whole other list that Google's looking for. We got, that's 100 checkpoint lists that we look at daily just for Google My Business alone, okay? And then even local services and even what's happening on your website. Believe it or not, what's happening on your website contributes to your Google Business Profile page, to your local services page. And just so you know, your Google Business Profile page is adaptable to all the other search engines out there as well. So again, connecting all of those dots. What are you doing on a maintenance standpoint? When was the last time your web developer updated SEO keywords and phrases? When was the last time you made true actual updates other than getting reviews and updating photos on your profile? When was the last time you tapped into local services? Some of you might not even have local services. If you don't, that's also why you're like drowning in the sea of in the worlds of online searches. Okay, it's not just only about reviews. It's helpful, it can be beneficial, but it's not the only thing that they're looking at. Okay. And I always like to show this because this is like gives hope, right? So one of our clients out in Champaign, Illinois, 39 reviews, outranking with somebody with 969 reviews. What? We got Tim Dent out in Ridgefield, Connecticut, 27 reviews, outranking with somebody of 94 and 45. Holy smokes. Lake Havasu, Arizona, our client who is totally crushing it out there. I believe in January and February alone was 17 listing leads. And she came to us in October, and 26 reviews, outranking somebody with 46 reviews. I know her phone does not stop in the last few weeks because spring market is completely in full bloom and full effect over there. Okay, so reviews is helpful. It's not the only thing. And it's possible that if you've got less than what everybody else is out there, you can still rank. I like to say on average, 31 plus. If you get 31 reviews or more, you're over the hump. Okay, 31 reviews or more, you're over the hump. If you're at like 3 or 4, you got to hit at least 5 for local services to be to get in place. Okay, if you're at 10, strive for 15. 15, strive for 20. Always strive for 5 a month. Okay, natural contribution gives you your bonus points in the world of Google. Just like if you think of like Facebook or Instagram, they like that natural organic engagement. That's what reviews does. So if you can get 1 a week, you'd be in a pretty rock solid position. Okay. There's absolutely no excuses, y'all. All right. Like I said, Google's here to stay. And I really believe anyone can get to the top if they really want to. The question is, do you want to? The question is, do you want to utilize this as a tool in your area to help you come up on searches so that way people continue to give you a call? Okay. And I'm seeing some of the chats here. Sorry, they're a little cut off for some reason. Okay, let me see here. Oh, Deanna, you've been responding, I see. Okay, and love it. Okay, sorry guys, I'm just trying to see some of the comments here because I want to make sure I didn't miss out on anybody's questions if they have. I worked so hard on my reviews and updating daily, but it doesn't seem to help. Again, reviews is like a portion or a piece to the puzzle, okay? I will say this, if you're getting reviews, y'all, make sure that you are responding to reviews. Just one on a cordial like level, right? Like somebody took the time out to respond back to reviews, just take 30 seconds to respond back to them, right? But Google looks at that as a measurement. Now, how quickly? You don't have to stop, drop, and roll. I get that question a lot. Like, oh my God, do I need to respond in 5 minutes or less? No, as long as you respond back in 24 to 48 hours, that would be perfect. And if you respond back with like, I'll use my area, right? Let's say I'm writing a review on Deanna and I could simply say, and I'm responding back and say something like, Deanna, thank you so much for writing your review. It was such a pleasure in helping you find your next home in Naples, Florida. Next home, Naples, Florida, right? If you're on a team, we do our best to, now I got best, and then you put in real estate agents and area. Now you got best real estate agent, right? You're playing around with those keywords in your responses to help trigger that as well. Now, I also get the thing of, oh, well, I keep asking people for reviews, but they're not responding or they're not writing them. Here's the rule. If you're putting all your eggs in one basket, it's not going to work. If you ask one person, you're begging and pleading with them, you got to move on. If you ask 5 people, 1 in 5 will actually write the review. So if you ask 5 people this week, you're going to get 1 review. If you ask every week, you can get your 5 reviews. You could ask 10, you can get 2 reviews. Do not send it out as a mass email, okay, and get this influx of 15, 20 reviews, and then you get nothing because Google's not going to like that, all right? I always say it's Google's world. We just live in it, and we got to play by their rules. Okay. Oh, I see somebody wrote, I had a handful of reviews, Google Business, but they were deleted when I left my agency for another. Tried contacting Google to no avail. Okay, wait a second. Hold on. Handful of excellent reviews, but they were deleted. I'm sorry, Dan, I'm going to need a little bit more info on this. You had a handful of reviews and they were deleted. Did you change your address? Did you get a new profile? Because if you have a new profile, reviews are not transferable. If you had to change your address, you had to go through re-verification. And if that's the case, it's going to take a couple of weeks for those reviews to come back. In fact, I had someone go through re-verification for 6 months, and one of his reviews from like 8 months ago literally just got published on Monday. Okay. Does it help if I'm in a unique area? For example, Surprise, Arizona, which is a neighborhood outside of Phoenix. Does it help if I'm in a unique area? Honestly, it depends on the search numbers, right? Every area has different search volume. It's a matter of maximizing of that search volume. So Surprise, Arizona, I'm actually just spoken to somebody in Surprise, Arizona. I believe in Surprise, Arizona, like things like Best Realtor Near Me had about like 1,500 searches. Yeah, it was 1,500 searches in the last 28 days, right? So it's more about the search volume. And I know I'm running out of time here. I just want to make sure I at least address people's questions, concerns. Thank you for the compliments here, y'all. I appreciate it. I'm feeling the energy from everybody from home or wherever you're watching it. Okay, excellent. Okay, I think I caught the comments. If there's anything, just drop it again, guys, because it's a little jammed up there. Okay, so just wrapping up with the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today, and that's applicable to your online searches. Okay. Don't feel like you're totally behind. If you ignore it after this webinar, yes, you will continue to be behind. But if you get off this webinar and you're like, okay, I got to put this in motion. This has got to be here at the top of my priorities. Do so. Okay. It's so important. Okay. Like I promised you in the beginning, I know what it takes to win as a realtor in today's market. Boom or bust market, whatever it is, slow, fast, competitive, you're wherever you might be. I really hope that today you took some value, you took something that can help you push the needle forward with your online presence. Okay. I know Deanna put in the next steps here, which is how we can get your heat maps, your Google audit, all those fun things. So I'll let her keep up her pop-up slide there. That is everything I have for today, y'all. Everyone, you are awesome. And I hope, sorry, Deanna, I got one more question. How can I come in all the cities near me when they Google? Great question. So a couple of things on that is it comes down to making sure that your map areas is applicable. It allows you to select services. You want to make sure you hit all of those service areas, and then all those service areas you're working, if you have experience, and you have people that you've worked with them, make sure they're writing reviews and highlighting those neighborhoods as well.
Yeah, this is awesome. How I met Kier, because somebody asked in the chat, I thought it was worth just kind of bringing it up here, is how does this all tie into Sold.com, right? Sold.com is a lead generation, a marketing tool, and Kira's too, right? Like that is what she's trying to explain to you is how you guys can have more presence and more awareness everywhere. And that's ultimately like why you guys came to Sold.com in the first place, how you joined our network is like-minded, right? You guys were looking for ways to grow your business. Sold.com is seller focused. And why we partner up with people like Kira and Agent Design House is because we are trying to generally invest in our agent network. We want to be able to say, this is what you need to be successful in this industry. It's being seen everywhere. It's being on Google. It's being on Yahoo. It's being on Bing. Wherever the consumer is, you need to be, right? And sold.com is something that wants to truly not only just provide you with sold.com leads, but we also, unlike a lot of lead generation companies who are just there to talk about their services or say that they are the best. Like, I've been in this industry for 15 plus years, and I've seen that people can be successful in multiple different platforms and are successful in multiple platforms. And it is, again, about being seen everywhere. And we want to take a different approach with our lead, like sold.com's lead generation, which is, we want to invest in you. We want you to be successful. We want you to be successful on sold.com. We want you to be successful on all the search engines. We want to generally invest in whatever it is to help you guys be successful in this industry, because it's tough. It's not just a plop a sign in the yard and get your license and all this business is going to come to you. Like, you have to truly invest in yourself. And a lot of that is continuing education, but a lot of it is things like what Kira talked about. None of it was necessarily like, and this is no disrespect to you, Kira, but none of it's rocket science, right? All of it is just be where the consumer is. That's all it comes down to, is just make sure people know about you. Make sure that people know that you're around there. Kira and I actually met at a event, and we were in a booth next to her. And like, what caught my attention was that so many of her current clients, and this is what you rarely see at events, is your current existing clients coming up and thanking you and hugging you and asking when you're going to get cocktails with you. They're typically like, this has sucked. Why like, they're complaining to you at your booth, right? And maybe all of you guys have been to a conference where you've seen a company that you've paid for, and you're like, giving them like the side eye, you're not stopping by, or you have a complaint for them. What I saw with nearly every single person that stopped by the Agent Design House booth was that everyone was so thankful for what Kira had done for their business. And so that's what really opened up this conversation and really formed this relationship that we've had ongoing in the background. Was, we have to get Kira and this option in front of other people, because she's doing it for so many different people and changing their business. So Kira, thank you so much for being here. Amazing information. Like I said, we'll be sharing this in a recording, so everybody will have all these takeaways. If you guys want more information on Kira, how Kira can do this for your business, like I said, we have those pop-ups on the screen, so you can click the learn more. It'll link you out to a form that you can fill out, and Kira and her team can reach back out to you and talk about some additional options. But Kira, before I let everybody else go, are there any other things that you want to bring up?
I'll just end it with, as I know this is a lot of information, and I hope you got at least a light bulb moment, but I always like to remind agents as well, like, there's 2 lanes, right? And you got to choose which lane you're going to be in. Are you the lane that you are nurturing your database and, whether you're cold calling, whatever, that might be, or door knocking, and you're closing deals? Or are you the agent in the other lane that you're spinning your reels trying to figure out the next best thing, because those are the agents that aren't closing as many deals? Which lane are you in? Pick that one lane. If it's, hey, I got to close more deals, outsource the rest. That is my best piece of advice as someone who is even an agent, because your area of your zone of genius is negotiating, is closing deals. It's not to understand the next algorithm update and adjustment and how you're going to apply it, because by the time you do, it's outdated information.
Yeah, exactly. Figure out what your strengths are and outsource everything else. And that is how every successful business operates, right? You don't have one person that's your salesperson, your customer service, your marketing. Like, you have to operate yourself as a business and make sure that your focus is truly on how do you close more business, and then everything else just help you be able to fill that pipeline. Thank you, Kira. If you guys have any other questions, like I said, reach out to Kira through that form. We'll send out the recording afterwards. But thank you guys again for joining. We'll see you on the next webinar. Bye, everybody. I'm going to link this.